Well, hello, Faith family. Pastor Jered coming from one of the nursery rooms on our campus. I really miss seeing some of the faces that are playing here. Some have toys, some are reading books, some are yelling for mom and dad and grandparents and hugging on Sunday school teachers. It'll be so great coming back together when we do. Florida's starting to open up a little bit. They're doing 25% restaurants, parks and beaches are opening. And across the state, people are feeling a little more secure, a little more relaxed in some areas. But we still will take it a week-by-week approach. Here at Lloyd, we're going to continue doing our drive-in service. Folks, it's getting a little bit warmer out there, and we want to make you aware that there might be some changes in our times coming up. But for right now, it's going to be 10 a.m., drive-in, tailgate, however makes you feel most comfortable. It's exciting seeing all the things happening at Lloyd. We're hearing stories that people are watching videos accepting Jesus. We're hearing stories about people watching videos coming together with their family again. One of the neat stories that'll be shared in the coming months to come is how people will stumble, as they call it, on one of the videos or one of the sermons or one of the songs and how much it meant to them, and it was exactly what they needed to hear at exactly the moment they needed to hear it. Well, we call those God moments. And in sitting inside the nursery room, I remember all the stories that family and friends, especially my mom, would sit me on her lap and read. It's so encouraging to consider that the story that we're going to look at today out of the book of John has the word sheep or lambs in it. It's interesting thinking about how many family members call their little ones that they love their little lambs or their precious sheep. Well, in John 21, we just had a moment where Jesus fed Peter and the disciples. I find it extremely encouraging that one of the things that Christ does for us immediately is recognizing our physical needs. So much emphasis at what we do in church world is put on the spiritual. Of course it is. It's desperately needed that you have a relationship with Jesus. It's desperately needed that you pray and read your word, encouraging others. But one of the most important things we can do as a family of faith is to reach out for the physical needs that people have. Is it food? Is it resources? Is it simply something in which a listening ear can provide? Well, today out of John 21, specifically verse 15, when they had eaten breakfast, Jesus said to Simon Peter, "Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me more than these?" Well, he said to him, "Yes, Lord, you know that I love you." And he said to him, "Feed my lambs." Now, many scholars have addressed this thinking, does Peter love the Lord more than fishing, since that's where he was? Does he love the Lord more than he loves prestige, or does he love the Lord more than anything else? Remember, folks, that Peter and Jesus were surrounded by the other disciples. It's not like they were having an entirely private conversation, which really speaks to understand some things. See, previously, Peter had denied Jesus 3 times. And I believe that when Peter met Christ right after resurrection, there was intense forgiveness for what Peter had done. So I feel like Peter has already been forgiven by the Lord, but there's certain sins in our life that we need to confess privately, and there's certain sins in our life that we need to address publicly. Jesus, knowing Peter and knowing his heart and knowing what had occurred, remember that Peter had denied Jesus publicly, and that included in front of some disciples. They knew that the rock of faith, so to speak, had been shaken based on Peter's actions. So what does Jesus do? He simply asks Peter, "Do you love me more than these?" And since Peter addressed it and saying, "Yes, of course I do," then what Jesus says is, "Feed my lambs." One of the things that Jesus wanted Peter to do, I believe that he wants us to do, is to take care of others that are around us. So you may feel like during a quarantine time that perhaps your ministry has somehow been canceled, or perhaps even put on hold, or perhaps one of the things that you felt like is that things are going on, but they don't include you. Well, your first ministry is to those who are around you. Maybe it's your family. Maybe if you're alone, maybe it's a neighbor. Maybe it's someone down the road. Someone you work with. Someone you care about. Do you love the Lord? Well, of course you do. Well, one of the missions and one of the ways you show the world that you love Jesus is by taking care of others. Well, then Scripture goes on and says in 16, he said to him a second time, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me? Well, Simon, son of Jonah, said to him, yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Well, he said to him, tend my sheep. Well, he said to him a third time, Simon, son of Jonah, do you love me? Peter was grieved because he said to him a third time, do you love me? And he said to him, Lord, you know all these things. You know that I love you. Jesus said to him, feed my sheep. You might be a little upset because Jesus constantly keeps asking you the same question over and over. Well, one of the most beautiful pictures in the good news of Jesus Christ, called the gospel, is after that he has saved you, he will continue to take you back every single point you have fallen, every single time you failed, every single time you've sinned. He'll take you back to those moments to start again and begin brand new. See, Peter had eaten with the Lord before. Peter had caught some fish with the Lord before. Peter had seen Jesus do so many different miracles that the book of John says that if they wrote them all down, there wouldn't be enough volumes to contain them. But still, he took time with Peter to reestablish him in the faith. Don't let this time of quarantine pass you by without taking a moment and reestablishing your faith, and reestablishing the way you live your faith, and reestablishing how your faith is demonstrated that others can see. Do you love the Lord? Take care of others. Do you love the Lord? Teach others. Do you love the Lord? Help them follow Jesus. Tomorrow is the National Day of Prayer. First Thursday in May. And tomorrow you're going to get an email, for those of you who are a part of our faith family, on just some of the things and suggestions that you could lift up to the Lord tomorrow. Praying for your town, praying for your county, your state, our nation, and praying for the world. That our heart, our eyes, and our lives would be focused on Jesus Christ. That revival will break out even amongst the quarantine. And that through that experience of prayer, whether you're able to still gather at a pole, or whether you're sitting at home in your favorite chair, or perhaps even in the nursery in which you used to hold babies or play with children, maybe as you sit down to this day and tomorrow, you can lift up those dearest, and that you can lift up those that you know, and ask God to do another miracle in their life, to take them back where they need to be, so they can begin anew with Him. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Have a wonderful week, and as you spend time in prayer for one another, reach out to others and share how God has answered those prayers. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful Mother's Day. And we hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.